it's a pretty crazy story. I think it's different from most. I'd like to believe, but yeah. Anyway, I'll get on with it.
Let's hear it.
I am a truck driver, and so yeah, I was going down I-75 south in Loudoun County, Tennessee, and this has to deal with a truck stop that I saw fully operational, but then a couple days later it disappeared, which is crazy to me. Right, this is like, it's bonkers, but that's the exact location, is south of I-75, Loudoun County, exit 72. There's a Love's truck stop.
Say it again. Exit 72, south I-75.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loudoun County,
Tennessee.
County, Tennessee.
And
so,
yeah,
if I might really quickly just ask, when you say you passed it the one way and then when you passed it the other way, it wasn't there. Like, same mile marker, everything.
So this is like when you get off the exit, right? I'll tell you like what turn I took.
Sure.
I took a right turn, and this was in the morning, so I was already driving for a few hours. So this is early morning, probably like 7 or 8 or something.
Okay.
And I take a right. I look to my left. I'm like, oh, all right. It's a fully operational Love's within Arby's. I'm seeing trucks getting their diesel, people going in, getting their gas, everything.
So this was on the opposite side of the highway from you?
Yeah, to the left.
Gotcha.
From me, yeah. And on Google Maps, you'll see that like it's under construction. But anyway.
Currently it's under construction?
No, it's there now. That's the bonkers part. That's the crazy part. But I'll get to that.
Okay, yeah. Tell us. Finish. I just real quick to repeat where we're at. You drove by. You saw a fully operational rest stop. Turned around and it was gone.
It's a Love's truck stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had an Arby's in it as well. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell my co-driver this. If we don't like the job site that we're going to, because some of our job sites have lodges. I'm like, well, if we don't like it, we'll just come back to this Love's and stuff and take showers there. So I liked the lodge, so we ended up not going back. And this is on a Friday morning, by the way. And I tell my co-driver this, everything. And then on Sunday night, we leave. We go back that way, exit 72 to go south. But anyway, yeah, I'm going the same direction. And I'm like, okay, we'll get gas there. And she's like, okay. So we go there and we see nothing there. It's at night. Nothing's there. No Love's truck stop. Nothing. And I'm thinking, how is this possible? And she's making fun of me. She's like, maybe it's like you're talking about the Love's from 11 miles. You're just going crazy. And I'm like, dude, no. I know that it was off this specific exit. And told her had an Arby's, everything. So, for every time we passed that place to go to that lodge, for like the next few months, she was just like making fun of me with her husband on the phone. And I'm just like, I give in. Maybe I was delusional. Maybe I didn't see anything. And then she's driving in one night and she wakes me up and she tells me, I'm thinking I'm crazy. You're making me crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, that same exact place that we passed by and I make fun of you for it every time. Like, it's there. The Love's, the RVs, everything. And I'm like, no way. Get out of here. What?
This is about,
are you kidding me?
This is about 2 miles from a river, right? Spot we're talking about?
I'm not sure.
Wait, if you were driving north, did you cross over a river? Loudoun about 3 miles to the east? Trying to make sure. I'm just trying to see if I can see which travel stop I'm talking about. On the map. Yeah. It's cool if not. I'm just curious. Like, I'm just trying to see because I think I found the right spot.
It's a Love's.
Yeah, there's a Love's, there's a Marathon
Yeah.
Gas, a Bojangles, a La Quinta, and a Shell. Love's
So,
has an Arby's in it, too,
After
so.
she saw it, did you go and look?
Oh, after she said she saw it, I was just like, well, that's confirmed that maybe I saw the future or something. She's like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, well, let's investigate. Let's call like the manager later on. And we called the manager and asked, hey, when did this thing get built? And he's like, well, it's been there. The building's been there for a year. We just didn't get the permit or license to get it finished. The problem is, though, every time we passed, all we saw was grass and trees, which is crazy.
Okay.
And it's like, and we didn't see any construction site at all. We didn't see nothing. And you know, so she's sitting there like, well, that's crazy. That's impossible. But here's the kicker: is this happened in November, 2022. I'm pretty sure it was on that Friday, late November, and I was doing my research, and I see that the Hadron Collider was a Hadron Collider at CERN was activated. Let me look.
Now we're talking.
Because I sent it to you on messages, Shane. Let me see. First lead ion collisions in the Large Hadron Collider at record energy. On Friday, November 18th, a test using collisions of lead ions was carried out in a Large Hadron Collider. So record energy. And I'm thinking, I mean, you guys don't have to believe me because I don't have proof. Because I didn't record nothing. Because, you know, like, I didn't think, what's the point? Maybe I was just losing my mind. I don't know. But when I look at the fact that they had a Hadron Collider activated that day, like that, I wonder if it manipulated reality somehow. Which is crazy because if it's manipulating reality, even though it's small, like if you put together everything, like every little action that's happening across the planet, that could, you know, chain reactions can be something negative, you know? It's like a domino effect. If you think about whatever they're doing, I think it's probably driving some people mad because they're thinking about some things they can't explain in this world.
So you were saying that the collider possibly opened up you saw another timeline, and then, or maybe you saw the future? Is that what you're thinking? Did I lose you?
Oh.
Did I lose you? Oh, did the particle smasher just go off?
I can't hear him.
Dude.
Oh, God.
Imagine if he just...
Is there like a time limit?
No.
I don't know. No, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to see. It's weird.
What does it say online?
I did see a July 2022 Street View.
Uh-huh.
I saw a July 2022 Street View.
It's on it?
It's not. There's a bunch of trees there.
Where did he
That's
go?
so weird.
Did he say what month it was?
November 2020.
November-
2022.
November 2022?
November 18th, 2020.
I was looking at the street, and I was looking at the street view from like right next to it on the road. It's actually because it's off the highway.
Where did he
It's
go?
like off an exit.
Gone.
It's off an exit. If you were heading northbound,
Right.
then you would turn right. He said it was to his left, and he turned right at, I think it was Highway 72, not Exit 72.
It was hard to say because I asked for if he said 75. He said 75, I-75 first, and then
He said I-75,
exit
Exit 72.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it looked like it was Route 72.
Yeah.
Based on, I think I found it.
Okay.
He said it was Loudon. He said there was, I said the Bojangles, the Wyndham, all that was all there.
Right.
And I was looking at, July 2022, if you were looking at it from Route 72, there's just trees to the east. The problem is from the highway, I was not able to see
Interesting.
Is he there?
anything.
Are you there?
Oh,
You're
there
back.
it is.
Oh my goodness, we lost
We
you.
lost you for a sec.
I can't hear him.
Holy.
Yeah, I will say I did just go to check, and the Street View in July 2022 does not show anything
Just go
being
on my
there.
phone and see if it works.
I'm gonna see if I
Hey,
can get.
we
a
can
little
hear
bit
you.
further. We can hear you.
We can hear you if you can
Discord's
hear
being
us.
stupid too. He just popped out again.
Yeah, he just popped out. Well, we'll move on to the next caller. But that was crazy how I asked him if he's from a different timeline, then he disappears.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
We're gonna look up the Large Hadron Collider. Are they smashing particles right now?
Yeah. So yeah.
Swiss?
Okay. I can see June 2021. There's nothing there.
Imagine you find one where it is in there in between those months.
Be weird. Yeah. I'm trying to find because it's not. I got to look at different roads to figure out like where.
Nice. You guys are watching in real time Aidan deconstruct.
Let's get a Rachel in
This
here.
is what I do
Interesting
for a
story.
living.
I love it.
This is my everyday. Is I make so many maps.
You
I have
to.
so many maps
Yeah.
on
Do you
Google.
sometimes feel like you're the Charlie Day meme? Because I do.
Yeah, sometimes.
Is Rachel in the room?
Rachel, are you there?
Are you with us?
I am here.
Awesome, Rachel.
Is someone
thank
with
you for
us?
joining us. We can
Please
hear you.
say your name.
We can hear. Yeah, knock if you can hear us. What's going on, Rachel? Please share with us your story.
So my story is a memory that's been with me for so long that I don't know whether it's true or not, but the facts kind of line up for it to have potentially happened. The summer when I was 6 years old, we came to Indiana, my sister and I, to visit and stay almost a month or something like that with my grandma. And she was big into her church at that time, and the pastor had daughters that were close to our age. So they set up a play date, and we went to their house, which was somewhere out in the country, surrounded by cornfields. And they had a shed in the backyard that they used as a playhouse for their kids, even though it does get extremely hot in the summertime in Indiana, and it was extremely hot in there. And so we're a group of girls. I think there was something like 5 of us, maybe 6 in this shed. And somebody comes up with the idea of us to stand in a line and braid the person's hair that was in front of you. So we're this line of girls and we're all braiding everybody's hair. And we're in there and there's no window. And for whatever reason, they decided we should shut the door. So it's pitch black in there. And we're all standing there. And one girl, I think it was like the older sister, she's like, "Ow, stop pulling my hair." And she blamed her sister for it. And her sister's like, "I didn't do anything." And we go back to braiding each other's hair. And then all of a sudden she goes, "Ow, stop." And she blamed her sister again. Her sister's like, I didn't do it. It's not me. I'm not doing anything. And how can it be me? Because I'm up here getting my hair braided, because she was in the front of the line. And this girl was actually in the back of the line. And so it sinks into everybody, all the girls that are in there, that, there must be somebody else in here because nobody's pulling her hair. So we all scream and we, burst out of the doors of this shed in this backyard and we run straight to the house. And I was either the youngest or the shortest or the slowest or any combination of those. And while I'm running, I look back behind me and there was a black shadow figure with red eyes that was chasing us. And I don't know if anybody else looked back besides me. But I could see that he looked like he was dressed kind of like a cowboy. Like,
Do you have a hat?
See that he had on a hat. Yes.
Like brimmed hat?
Specific hat.
Hat with a brim?
Specifically, I've heard it described as a businessman Stetson. So not a wide brim.
Okay. But that
Yeah.
is a Stetson. I mean, it's wide enough. That's what I'm thinking. What about clothes? Trench coat?
No trench coat.
Okay.
It looked like blue jeans and a button-up, like not a blouse. It's not a blouse for a guy, but you know what I mean. A
Like a
button-up
flannel.
shirt.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. I'm trying to walk through this. So it wasn't when you say it looked like it was probably blue jeans and a button-up shirt. Are you thinking that was this it was that the form of the person itself was black and shadowy, or but the clothes were visible, or was it that everything about the form was black and shadowy and you just perceived that that's what the clothes it would be wearing would be?
I perceive that's what the clothes it was like, the shape, the outline, because it was
Gotcha.
pitch black. I mean, like the absence of all light black.
Mm-hmm.
And but the shadow, the outline of what the clothes shape would have been was that.
Anyone else
But
see it? You're the only one.
you could see, I asked my sister if she remembers this at all, and my sister doesn't remember a lot from our childhood for whatever reason, and I think I might have been the only one that looked back.
When you say in the beginning you think it's hard for you to tell if this is a dream or not, right? Why does
Exactly.
it seem so real? Why does the memory or the false memory haunt you this long? Is it just the image? Did something else happen to you later on in a similar fashion?
No, it's just I remember a lot of things. Like that was the summer I was 6. I have a memory from when I was 3. Like I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood. So
Did anything that had
occasion.
sorry. Did anything that had to do with that shed ever happen in the future?
I don't know. The funny thing is I didn't live in Indiana at the time, but I live
Gotcha.
in that town now, and I could drive past that place on a daily basis and not even know, because I don't know exactly where I was.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I did some research on the whole shadow person Hatman phenomenon a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
and what I came across was that in almost every single circumstance, something traumatic either had just happened or was just about to happen. Like had just happened and somebody didn't know about it, or it was about to happen. So that's why I ask, because my thinking about it was that if that is a real phenomenon, everything I'm seeing suggests that it is not actually itself violent or aggressive, but a warning. And think about what this is. We've got dark figure, sometimes red eyes, often appears to be wearing some kind of outfit. And you see a lot of stories of people who say, oh, well, just before my dad got in a car crash, I saw the Hatman. Just before the night my grandmother died, I felt like I saw a figure staring at me in my room, or I saw a shadow person and it freaked me out. So I went home, or I turned around. And if I hadn't done that, then I would have, gotten hit by a car. Yeah. Something like that, where it's somebody's they see it at a key time. So that's why I asked about the shed is maybe, shed could have had rusty nails. Shed could have had bad, dangerous spiders. And I wonder, because those are the places I usually see people talk about experiences with shadow people. And the weirdest part of it to me, they always have a hat. Yeah. Every single time the person that saw it perceives it to have a hat.
Yeah, we had a call. Chris called in last week, saw a hat man. I have in my childhood, in the home where I grew up, I didn't see a hat man, but I saw a shadow hand for a long time. Later would find out, before we moved into the house, a little boy was murdered by his brother by accident. I
have a very weird memory, and I'm not sure how much of it is legitimate. But there's part of it that I know for a fact I recall. But the part I don't necessarily remember is how it started, which is I feel like I remember finding a note. Don't totally remember what the note says. Just I feel like I remember finding a note in my attic before we finished my house's attic as a kid. And I just remember it, for whatever reason, feeling like it was associated with what would happen for the next few years.
Whoa.
I think I was 6 or 7 at the time. And then I want to say for about the next 5 years, probably up until my grandmother passed away, I would see about as far as I could see in a given direction, I would see a dark figure. It looked like a person. But if it was, there was a hill in front of me, and the crest of the hill was 100 feet up, that's where it would be. And this wasn't constant. I didn't always see this. And then sometimes I would be sitting inside, and there would be a field, and just again, like a hill or something like that, or a highway would be there, whatever the edge of my vision was.
Right.
I would see it standing there, and it had a hat, looked like it was wearing maybe a trench coat. When it was closer, that's what I perceived of it. And for me, I remember as a kid feeling like it was really real. And over the past few years, I've doubted it more and more. I'm like, was that just my mind, an overactive imagination putting something out there where I couldn't really make things out? Was my mind trying to find a pattern? Because that's what the science says, is that, shadow people are just your brain trying to find a pattern in the darkness.
Right.
I feel like if that's what it is, people would see them more often.
I tend to think children have an easier, can access whatever's going on behind the curtain. of
Yeah, because our
reality.
brains don't filter things out as much.
Yeah, we haven't been like conditioned by society to build that wall around perception.
Yeah.
Possibly, because I also have memories of shadow type, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't really shadow people, but they were tall entities in the tree line
Yeah.
constantly. Not every day, but I mean, like we'd be driving with my family.
You remember the figure running across the side of the road? You ever just
No.
kind of like imagine that? Just like
no.
imagine like somebody running across along with the car.
I'm not sure. I might have just thought they were all real.
But no, because like that I remember as a kid
Yeah.
being like looking across and imagining like a person or an animal or something running across.
Right.
Some people I've seen are like, what I imagined was like a monstrous like humanoid looking thing, and it was terrifying. That's not what I saw, but I do remember pretending something was running along the side of the road.
Right. I remember seeing things that I would then like soon after be like, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like a giant frog on a tree that turned out to be the knot of a tree.
Exactly.
Right? But I see that knot of the tree at my parents' house still. I'm like, I think that was a frog. I'm like, I'm still pretty convinced it was a frog. It just shapeshifts. But wait, you said you got a note? Like,
Yeah, I have this memory of finding a little slip of paper with writing on it in my attic.
wow.
And I remember it was right before this started happening.
That's wild.
And then again, it stopped like when my grandmother died when I was 11.
Wow.
Or 12. Yeah.
That's interesting. Is it Rachel? Is that who we're talking to?
Yeah.
Rachel, is it possible for you to go see if there's anything that ever happened in that shed?
It's not because so my grandma, she developed Alzheimer's
Gotcha.
very early, and she passed away probably 15 years ago, I would say now, at least.
Okay.
Time
It's
gets
been
away
out of
from me, but
Yeah.
the only person I could ask my grandpa if he remembers where they went to church and where their pastor lived at that time, but I don't.
If you ever really bored and want to find out,
Yeah.
send us a message.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Yeah, shoot us both emails. 'Cause
Yeah, because that's a great
It was
question.
funny,
Yeah, that's
though,
why.
Because when I ran, it was like when I saw it, I think I turned around when I was almost at the door to get inside, and it was like as soon as I looked at it, it was in like a running motion, like in pursuit. And then when I looked, it just kind of stopped. And like, I was like, nope, I wasn't, it's like when you play red light, green light or something like that. And, somebody just said red light and it just was like, okay, well, there we
What
go.
time of day was this again?
Oh, it was in the middle of the day.
So this
Bright
is broad
Saturday.
daylight.
But she was in pitch black, right?
Inside the shed, she said it was.
Right.
Yeah, but outside it would have been.
Right.
That's.
Yep.
Because that's what I mean when I say the pattern seeing thing is like
Right.
I spent a ton of time outside at night playing Manhunt and Infection
sure.
and the various games with my friends, and never once did my brain, and this is from the time I was in 4th grade, like I was a kid still, never once did my brain perceive a figure in the darkness, but I've seen it in my bedroom and she's seen it in a shed and then in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Like
I saw a shadow hand in my bedroom, and then if I were playing in the woods, my imagination would populate the woods with things that were never there, right? Like just a fear of
Yeah.
a Sasquatch hiding behind the
Right.
tree, like Harry and the Hendersons terrified me. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's got to be out here, but I never saw it, right?
shadow people are one of those things that I'm like, that's one of the paranormal things that I struggle so hard to dismiss.
It's just so many people have similar stories.
And it's always the same. Even people who have never talked to anybody about it before.
Right, exactly.
I've had friends, like not necessarily friends, even people who've come to me and been like, hey, so I just want to say, like, I don't talk about this to other people because they don't get it.
Right.
But maybe you would. And then they sit there and they tell me something, and it's something I have heard over and over and over again.
Yep. Last week when our caller Chris Carr called, he said he was in a house and they all experienced it separately and then talked about it. Like, so like all having the similar experience with this entity, and they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
I've had a couple weird experiences that I can't explain too.
I love them. Well, Rachel, thank you for the phone call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a great night.